Okay, we're talking about function notation. So first let's talk about what function notation is. So whenever you see something like f of x equals something, that's function notation. Basically, it just replaces y. And you read it as f of x. That's how this is read. So inside here, that's what goes inside. Those are your input values or your x values or your domain values. That's what goes into the function. Now what you get out of it, those are your y values. So if I put something into a function, then I'm going to get an outcome, an output. And your output are your y values or your range values. So that's the basics of function notation. And again, you read it as f of x. So a function can be a relation with input values or x values for the domain and output values or y values for your range. So again, if you have this function, let's say this function is f of x equals 2x plus 3. So what goes into the function, this is my input or my domain values. So this is input or x values or domain values. So I'm going to put these three values into the function and I'm going to get an output or a range. So what comes out is your output or your range or your y values. So my function is 2x plus 3. And here's the x right here. I'm going to plug in each x value. So -1, and I'm going to do it again. Then I'm going to plug in +1. So this is my function. These are my input values. So 2 times -1 is -2 plus 3 is 1. 2 times 0 is 0 plus 3 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3 is 5. And I'll also show you how to do this in the calculator pretty quickly also. So that's your range values. So then the ordered pairs would be -1, comma 1. And I'm getting these from my domain and my range. So here my domain is 0, range is 3. 1, 5. So again, function notation, f of x equals 2x plus 3. To find f of -1, you will replace x with -1 in the rule. So that's what we did all throughout. Okay, example, find the range of each function for the given domain. So here's my given domain, and I'm going to find the range. So here's how to do it on the calculator. We did it by hand here. On the calculator, you would go to y equals, and you would type in the function x squared minus 3. And then you will look at the table. Now, again, your domain is your x values. So look on the x column, and you will find those 4 values. So at -2, my range is 1. At 0, my range is -3. At 2, my range is 1. And at 4, my range is 13. So that's how to quickly find it in the calculator. I will leave example 3 for you to do in class tomorrow. Okay, look at example 4. So again, here's my function here. This time my function is expressed as ordered pairs instead of having an equation type function. So again, anything that's inside here, anything that's inside the parentheses, these are your x values. That's what you put into the function. And what you get out is your y values. So when you have ordered pairs, you have x, y. So this is asking x is 6, what is the y value? So you will look for, when you have x 6, your y value is 12. When you have x is negative 2, your y value is 6. When you have x is 8, your y value is 14. Okay, next example. If f of x equals 2 minus 3x and g of x equals 2x squared minus 1, find the following. So the reason why they came up with function notation is because it's so they can name different functions. If it says f, they want you to use f. If it says g, they want you to use g. So you would type these into the calculator. And I will type them in one at a time, because when you type in 2, it can get confusing. Look at the table, and again, this is your x value. And the output is your y value. So when x is negative 2, y is 8. I'm going to leave the 6 and 7 for you to do in class tomorrow. Okay, next example. These 3 are saying find x if f of x equals 3. So find x, obviously you don't know what x is, but you know what y is. So remember, I keep saying anything that's inside of your parentheses, that's your x, that's your input. And what it equals, that's your output. That's what you get out of a function. So this is your y. So it's telling you that the function, the output of the function is equal to 3. So it's telling you y is 3. Now how to find the x value. So when I type in this function into the calculator, I'm going to do negative 2x plus 15. And when I type it in and look at the table, I am going to look for when y is 3. So here's when x is 3. So if you would put 9, that's incorrect, because I don't want to know when x is 3. I want to know when y is 3, what is the x value. So here's when y is 3. My x value is 6. So for number 8, x will equal 6. I'm going to leave 9 and 10 for you to do in class tomorrow.